You hear the term emerging technology all the time, right? It's everywhere, in headlines, boardrooms, government reports. But if you really stop and think about it, what does that buzzword actually mean? Today, we're going to get a clear, practical answer.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. Is it just something that's new, something that's getting a ton of hype? Or is there a more rigorous, a more solid way to define it? And trust me, this isn't just a word game. The answer has some huge implications.
And by huge, I mean billions and billions of dollars. Since the early 2000s, governments, venture capitalists, you name it, they have been pouring resources into what they hope is the next big thing. The problem was, for a very long time, nobody had a shared definition of what they were even looking for. This created a really serious issue, a problem of definition, a kind of fundamental confusion right at the heart of innovation strategy. And the confusion was kind of twofold. On one hand, you had all these wildly different technologies crammed under the same emerging label. Some were brand new ideas from a lab. Others were way more mature, almost ready for market. And then on the other hand, the experts themselves just couldn't agree. What was more important, how new it was, or how much it could change our society? So the crucial point here is this. This wasn't just some academic debate. This lack of a common language created a massive critical gap. It made it incredibly difficult for organizations to decide where to put their money, their time, and their talent. How can you invest effectively if you can't even agree on what you're investing in? But, in the face of all this chaos, a team of researchers decided it was time to find a real, evidence-based answer. This was their quest for clarity. So, recognizing this critical gap, these researchers, Rodolo, Hicks, and Martin, they went on a mission back in 2015. Their goal wasn't just to throw another opinion into the mix, but to create a comprehensive definition that was grounded in actual data, something you could use in the real world. And what they developed was a real breakthrough, a simple but incredibly powerful 5-point framework to help us identify and truly understand emerging technologies. And here they are, the 5 core attributes. You can think of this as your new checklist for any technology you hear about. It's got to have radical novelty, show relatively fast growth, develop coherence, have the potential for prominent impact, and, interestingly enough, a healthy dose of uncertainty and ambiguity. Let's break each one down. Okay, first up, it all starts with radical novelty. We're not talking about just an incremental update like a slightly better smartphone. This is a fundamental shift. It's based on new science that creates capabilities that were pretty much unimaginable before. It literally changes the rules of the game, and it's the first, most important filter. Next, the technology has to show relatively fast growth. This isn't a slow burn, it just explodes onto the scene. You see this rapid acceleration in things like scientific publications, patent applications, funding, everything. A great example is CRISPR gene editing. Publications went from just a handful to thousands every single year. That's a vital sign that a real community is forming around the idea. Now, while it's growing this fast, a technology also needs coherence. What this means is that it starts to form a recognizable identity. What was once just a scattered set of experiments begins to converge into a consistent, unified field. This is the moment an idea becomes a tangible discipline that you can actually track, analyze, and strategically support. The fourth attribute is prominent impact. You see, it's not enough for something to be new and growing fast. The technology has to have the potential to seriously transform society. This is kind of the so what test. Think about how AI is reshaping entire industries from medicine to finance. That kind of transformative potential is what justifies all the massive risk and investment. And finally, and this might seem a little odd at first, a key attribute is uncertainty and ambiguity. Think about it. If the future of a technology is completely clear, it's probably not emerging anymore. True emergence means there are multiple possible paths it could take, major technical hurdles to overcome, and big debates about regulation and ethics. Nanotechnology is a perfect example, with all the ongoing discussions about its risks and applications. This uncertainty is actually a feature, not a bug. It signals the field is still malleable and big breakthroughs are still possible. So, this 5-point framework is a fantastic theoretical model, but the real genius, the really cool part, is how it was designed to be put into practice. Researchers use these data-driven methods, it's a field called scientometrics, to make these attributes measurable. They use trend analysis to actually track that fast growth in publications and patents. They use things like citation and co-word analysis to map out the research networks and literally see the coherence as it forms. This is what transforms the definition from just an idea into a practical, powerful toolkit. So, why does having this clear operational framework actually matter so much? What's the big deal? Well, it leads to three major benefits. First, it helps create better policy. Governments can make smarter, evidence-based decisions about where to invest public money. Second, it systematizes research, moving us beyond just gut feelings and hype to objective analysis. And third, it enables smarter innovation strategies for companies, giving them much clearer priorities for their R&D and investments. Ultimately, the power of this framework is that it bridges that critical gap we talked about at the beginning, the one between abstract, theoretical ideas and the very practical, high-stakes decisions that have to be made every single day in the world of innovation. Of course, the work is never really done. Technology is a moving target. The path forward is going to require us to keep refining these tools, recognizing that emergence itself is a dynamic, constantly changing process. But now, for the first time, we have a solid map to help us navigate it. Which brings us to a final question for you. Using this 5-point checklist, radical novelty, fast growth, coherence, prominent impact, and that crucial uncertainty, what technology that's on your radar today do you think best fits the definition of truly emerging? The answer might just surprise you.